Hello and welcome back to my channel. Today I'll be giving you some recommendations to watch on Disney+. Disney+ just arrived in the UK this week, so I've had a few days to have a flick through, to look what's available, what movies, what TV shows. It's all Disney, so a lot of people have been asking me, is it worth it? You know, should I get Disney+? And the answer is if you like Disney, if you like their films, if you like their TV shows, if you like Star Wars or Marvel, then it is probably worth it. There's a lot on there for that sort of thing, but if you don't, then it is quite a niche, so I guess it's up to you whether you want to spend $4.99 a month on it or however much it is. I'm going to start off with some of my classic picks, some animations that I think you should definitely watch. First up is one of my absolute favourite movies, The Fox and the Hound. If you're up for a cry, then this is definitely a good one. It's just so heartwarming and emotional and lovely. I absolutely love the characters. So if you don't know, it's about a fox, Todd, who gets orphaned and taken in by a lady to be raised in as her family, and they live next door to a hunter who has a dog, and they adopt a puppy called Copper. And the two, Todd and Copper, meet as children and they become the most unlikely friends, but it isn't until they're grown up they realise they're absolutely not meant to be friends. That's not what they're meant to do in this world. And it's quite heartbreaking to see that realisation between the two of them. It definitely contains one of the saddest scenes in Disney for me. I cry every single time. If you know, you know. But yes, that is definitely one that I think everyone should watch. Another absolutely underrated Disney classic that I think everyone needs to watch is The Great Mouse Detective. I always knew it as Basil the Great Mouse Detective, but I think it's just called The Great Mouse Detective in most places. It's like a riff-off Sherlock Holmes, but as mice. So Basil of Baker Street gets tracked down by Olivia, who has her father, who's an inventor, has been kidnapped, and she needs help finding him. It's just a classic mystery tale, like a riff-off Sherlock Holmes. It's quite clever and it's really funny. It also has one of the best Disney villains in Ratigan, and one of the best villain songs. It's so underrated. They all sing, "Oh Ratigan, oh Ratigan." It's so good. I think that one also is one that got lost along the way. People don't really remember it, but it's one from my childhood again that I used to watch all the time as a kid. Love it. And my absolute favourite Disney classic of all time, which again is another really underrated one. People always don't talk about this, but it's Tarzan. I love this movie. That's it. Like, that's all I have to say. It's perfect. It has the best soundtrack, actually, of any movie ever. Phil Collins went so hard on it. It's got ups, it's got downs, it's just got all the drums. It's fantastic. I cry to it, I laugh to it. I think it's one of the best written movies. I love Jane. She's a great female protagonist in it. She just wants to, she sketches the monkeys, and it's one of those films that I could watch and just be ultimately cheered up, especially when they're trashing the camp scene and they're doing like scats to it. I think that's a great scene. I love this movie, and if people haven't watched it enough, you need to go and watch it, rewatch it. If you've watched it like as a kid and you can't remember it, go and watch Tarzan. See, I could sit here and recommend all the Pixar movies to you, but I'm trying to pick ones that I think less people would have seen. But as you can see, I recommend everyone just goes has a Toy Story marathon right now. That should be the first thing everyone does on Disney+. Because they're just perfect movies for everyone. Toy Story 2 is the best though, and I stand by that. That's a hill I will die on. Toy Story 2 is the best. There's been a lot of Disney remakes or live action retellings or reimaginings or whatever they wanted to call them. Most of them are not good, or they're just pointless in my opinion, but there's probably two, but the one I recommended you in particular is the one that goes above and beyond. It surpasses the original in every way, and that's Pete's Dragon. Like, the original Pete's Dragon, I remember watching when I was a kid. It's quite weird. It's not a great movie, but the remake is so heartwarming and quite lovely, and the actual dragon is done really well, and I think it's just a really well-made movie overall, and I think it definitely builds on the themes of the original, but then sort of takes it to another level to really connect to audiences. So if you've not seen Pete's Dragon because you think that original was really weird, I don't want to watch that, or you think all the other live actions are crap, so I'm not going to waste my time, I would recommend checking out Pete's Dragon because I think that will surprise you a lot. Another one on the sort of spin-off live action theme is so it's like a continuation. It's like an extra for the Mary Poppins franchise. Both great movies. The original is classic. The sequel I absolutely adore. Maybe slightly more than the original as well, so there's that. But Saving Mr. Banks is the story of how Mary Poppins got made. It stars Emma Thompson as P.L. Travers, the author of Mary Poppins, and Tom Hanks as Walt Disney. And it shows her reluctance to actually give up the rights to Mary Poppins and to get it made on the big screen. She's so against cartoons, singing. She doesn't want Dick Van Dyke. She wants no Red in the movie ever. Like, she's so picky because she really doesn't want to let go of these characters that are family to her. And it's the most endearing and charming story ever. Like, yeah, like it has the Sherman Brothers writing the music and adapting the screenplay with the writers. And I think it's just a really, really lovely story, and it also shows her life and her growing up and sort of connection with her father, and how that affects her relationship with Mr. Banks, the father in the story. So I think it's a really, really wonderful movie. I absolutely love it. So if you've not seen Saving Mr. Banks, now's your chance. If you wanted something a bit different, there's also the entire section of National Geographic, which has loads of documentaries and nature programs. The documentary I'm going to recommend to you is Free Solo, which came out last year, I believe. It's about a free solo climber who scales one of the biggest climbs he's yet to do. And if you don't know, free solo is they have no ropes, no harnesses, nothing. They just climb themselves. If you're ready for like one of the most intense 90 minutes of your life, you should just watch this, like, holding your breath. You do not breathe the whole time as he's climbing. It's a really, really well-made documentary. I think it's incredibly well shot and really interesting to see, because you don't just see him climbing the mountain. You see his preparation, you see his history, you see how it affects his life, because it's such a dangerous career that he's chosen for himself. He also doesn't have a proper home. He lives in a van for a lot of it because he just goes from climb to climb. So it's quite interesting to see how the climbing affects his entire life. It's a great documentary. If you missed it, now's your chance to check it out. Disney Plus have got you covered. Also, would it be me if I wasn't talking to you about some of the Pixar or Disney shorts that are available on Disney Plus? There's a lot of great ones out there. My absolute favourite Pixar short is The Blue Umbrella. I think the animation on that is absolutely stunning. It's this love story between two umbrellas. It's so lovely. The animation still blows my mind. Another one that has absolutely impeccable animation is Piper. It's such a sweet little film about a bird who's trying to learn to get worms in the sea for the first time. They have to dig in the sand to feed themselves. His mum will no longer feed him. He's grown up now, he has to learn to do it himself. But on his first time out in the ocean, he gets pulled under the water and it absolutely traumatises him. So it's about him learning to do that and get over his fear of the ocean. It's so beautiful. It's so sad. When they make you do that in just like 3 minutes, it's just amazing. Another one, which I think is actually a Disney Plus original short from the Spark Shorts, I think they're called, and that is Kickball. It got nominated for the Oscar earlier this year, and honest to God, it probably should have won. It was that good. It's about a little kitten who befriends a pit bull. The kitten is a stray, like quite a scrawny little cat, and the pit bull is like getting a bit abused by his owner, left outside, not treated very well at all, and it is about their unlikely bond and learning to love each other. Honestly, it's just so emotional. It's so beautiful, and you just want to cry because it's just a lovely story. I don't know how they do it in such a short amount of time with just a little kitten and a dog, no dialogue whatsoever. So yeah, they're my 3 favourite shorts probably at the moment. There's so many on there, like La Luna's great as well. I love Lava. I know that's kind of, some people don't like it so much, but I think it's really cute. You also have all of Star Wars available on there. I absolutely love Star Wars, so I would recommend, obviously, watching all of them just in one go, but I would definitely recommend, if you've never checked out the Clone Wars series before, to watch that. That is a great series. It bridges the gap between Attack of the Clones and Revenge of the Sith and goes so more in-depth with its characters. It gives you an Anakin that you can really understand, but also he's got so many more layers to him. You also get to see Padme a lot more in it, and Obi-Wan Kenobi. I love the relationship between all the characters. Some of them are a bit long. I think some of the series, as it gets on, drag a little bit. There's obviously a few episodes where you think these aren't necessary. They're like bottle episodes or throwaway episodes that are just single stories. But the overarching plotline to the series is great, and I definitely think it builds on everything that the films do and really, really gives you the characters you deserved from the prequel series. Obviously also that the new series, the final series, is being put on Disney Plus at the moment, so I'm absolutely excited to check that out finally. And then finally some TV series for your nostalgic purposes. I've picked 3 that I remember watching when I was younger, and I absolutely love them. Number 1 is Recess. We were obsessed with Recess in my house. We always used to watch Recess. It's obviously self-explanatory. It's the recess of a school. You have like they're all like the cliches that you've got, like the cool, the sort of nerdy, the sporty, you know, they're all covered, and it's just about what they get up to on the playground. It's just classic in my opinion. I just love this show when I was a kid. I can't wait to just watch a load more of it. It's going to be so exciting. Another one is Chip 'n Dale Rescue Rangers, another one from my childhood that I remember loving. I always remember the theme tune. We used to sing a lot going to Disney parks. And I'm really excited to watch some more of that because I've not seen it in years. Another series that I remember watching loads when I was younger, I remember watching it before school, and it was the Lilo and Stitch series. And I have a feeling it's going to be really bad, but I remember loving it. So I'm going to definitely watch that and see if that holds up. Maybe I could do a whole nother series about, do my childhood series shows hold up? Because it probably doesn't, but I really remember loving it, and I love Lilo and Stitch so much, so I'll give it a go, why not? Okay, next I'm just going to give you a little rundown into the shows I'll be watching on Disney Plus, or the films that I'll be watching for the first time. There's some original content on there, and there's also just lots of movies that I've never watched over the years, so I'm going to definitely try and get to them. So definitely on the top of my watch list is The Mandalorian, Season 1. Everyone in the US obviously already watched it, had it months ago, but it's finally come to the UK, so that is top of my watch list, along with, like I said, finishing Rebels and getting to the final season of the Clone Wars. So there's stuff I'm definitely going to be prioritising on Disney+. There's also a couple of the originals that I want to watch, so Stargirl is the first thing I watched on Disney+. I've just watched that already, which I really enjoyed. Julia Hart's a wonderful director, so I was very much looking forward to that. So that was number 1 on my watch list also. I also want to watch the new Lady and the Tramp live action with real dogs. I heard good things about this one. I quite like the original animation as well, so I'm definitely going to be checking out Lady and the Tramp. The other original that I want to see is the Imagineering story. I think it's about the parks and about like a background into like the design and the creation or something. I don't know, it looks really interesting to me. And I love the parks, and I love like I like finding out all the background stuff about it, so I'm definitely going to be watching the Imagineering story as well. I don't know how I've never watched them, but I think it's finally time I watched High School Musical. Maybe just all 3 of them in one afternoon or something. My friend loves High School Musical. I know all the songs as well, I've just never ever watched them. So I think it's finally time I watch High School Musical. There's a few short movies on there that I've never seen. I think some of the original ones, I know Lamp Life, Float and Pearl, they're on my watch list already. And I've never seen a couple of others. I think Doug's Special Mission is one of them that I've never seen, so I'll try and get to that as well. And then 2 more TV series that I'd like to watch. Agent Carter. I watched the first episode of that when it first aired, but I never watched the whole season. So I'm definitely gonna watch Agent Carter because I really love Peggy Carter as a character. So I'm gonna prioritise that. And the final TV series I want to get to is Tangled Ever After. I really loved Tangled, and I think the animation for the Ever After series looks really cute, and I quite like to carry on with their story. I'd quite like to see what else happens with them. They're really fun characters. So yeah, I think that's everything on my watch list, and all my recommendations to watch for on Disney Plus now is launched here in the UK. Please leave me your recommendations. What should I be watching? What are you watching? Come and tell me in the comments, or come tell me over on Instagram at Lucy Richards Reviews. So remember to subscribe to my channel, and I will see you next time. Bye!